All right, welcome to 7 common obstacles to your goals and how to navigate them. All right, in the last lesson, you learned how to overcome obstacles with a variety of strategies. Okay, now this is a crucial skill to learn as there's always going to be an obstacle, they're unavoidable. This lesson takes the next step and lists the common obstacles you're likely to face. Now, if you know what might be in your future, you can be prepared, right? So let's get started. All right. So having goals will help you achieve the life of your dreams. So have to have goals, have to have desired outcomes, have to have a plan. Some of life's most satisfying experience are those that involve staying focused on a goal until you achieve it. And you already know this, right? So just think back into your history. Like, what are some things that you achieved that you really set your mind to and you really got done? So, I mean, for me, I joined the Army to pay for my education. So when I successfully got my first degree, honestly, I was a little let down because I thought, is this it? Because I've been working so hard for it, right? But I still was proud of myself. I still look at that diploma and have that pride of knowing that I set that goal when I was in high school. And I found a way to fund my dreams. I joined the Army. I learned what I needed to learn in the military. I got out. I went to school. And I did what a lot of people don't do. I actually used my GI Bill and my college fund to get not 1 degree, but 2. All right. So think back in your life on something that you've done, the goal that you've set for yourself. It doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how small. Okay. Think about that. Know that how good you felt when you achieved it. And you're going to likely experience times when no matter how hard you try, you're stymied by some obstacles blocking the way. All right. Now, my obstacles to my degree included getting pregnant and having a baby, right? But we work through those. All right. So there's going to be some hiccups. So here are some of the typical blocks to goal achievement. All right. The obstacles are going to come in many shapes and sizes. So let's just get started. So number 1, a lack of creativity. All right. So you might have your own struggles determining how to best work towards attaining what you want. And so perhaps you've run out of ideas to make it happen. Maybe you're not sure or what you're doing is not working. Number 2, negative thinking. All right. We've all been plagued by negative thinking. It is not new and it happens to us all. All right. So I think during the time of this recording, if you watch, there's been a documentary on CNN called The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the Bulls and their winning streak. And it even affected those guys, right? So if that makes you feel any better, Michael Jordan had some bouts with negativity. So did Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. All right. These guys are like big. All right. Or if you're not into basketball, I'm sorry. All right. So you're going to feel like you're just not going to be able to achieve your dreams. And negative thinking is a potential block because once it begins, it's just like positive thinking. Once it begins, it can escalate and it can become self-fulfilling. Okay, so you got to watch out for that. Lagging confidence, number 3. So following closely on the heels of negative thinking, sagging confidence is the bane of goal achievement. So you begin to seriously question your skills and abilities to complete the work required to reach your goal. Or you might even question, like, who am I to do this work, right? So that is number 3. Number 4 is focus follies. Who among us can claim that we've never lost our way on the path towards our dream life? I don't think anybody can do that. We want to reach that milestone, but we keep getting thwarted by distractions. How can you work on an important project when your wife keeps asking you why you aren't painting the house or spending time with the kids? Or how can you keep working on that important project when you feel guilty because you know you should be at a baseball game or you should be cooking dinner or you should be doing something for your family or your friends are telling you you're not spending enough time with them, right? How can you do that? Number 5, refusing to put in an effort. Now, it goes without saying that every goal requires you to work and persevere to reach success. But we're all human, right? And sometimes we get tired. Or sometimes we get scared and it manifests in a different way. And we stop making the effort because we're scared or we're close to it or we actually start to achieve it and it scares us a little bit, right? So refusing to put in that effort to keep it going and keep our foot on the gas. Number 6, time traps. Making your way towards goals is challenging enough without having the irritation of not enough time to do it. Now, we all know what that feels like. Maybe not so much now, like during the COVID-19, more people have found themselves with more time, but it still is a thing, right? Vague aspirations. If you're not really sure about what you really want, it is a challenge to continually steadily on your goals, right? Because then it's easily take you off path. So vague aspirations are equal to unmet goals, right? If you're not crystal clear on where you're going, there's the analogy I always use is you got to map how are you going to drive from here to Raleigh. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Do you want to get the fastest, the most scenic? Do you want the least amount of traffic, right? It all depends on what you want that experience to be for you to map it out. So you have to be clear on what that is. Now, we've highlighted them all. Or not all, but the most common, right? Like I said, having a baby, I'm not quite sure that falls into there, but we've got the ones that you are most common. So now let's talk about how do we navigate these? Like, how do we acknowledge or recognize when it shows up? And then what do we do about it, right? Action is the key. So these are the tips that you're going to use to overcome these obstacles. So number 1, take responsibility to keep creativity going. And this is going to look so different for all of us because we're all different kinds of learners and we get inspired by a few different things. So maybe you want to draw pictures of what you hope to achieve. Or maybe you like to do the storyboard of your plan of action and start putting the things that you want on it. You can design that vision board of what your goal pathway looks like and include your life, how it's going to differ after achieving your goal. Maybe you like to do the meditations where you visualize yourself there. Or maybe the creativity is just infusing some fun. I found for me, if I infuse fun into what I'm doing, it helps me be creative and allowing myself to reward little waypoints. So say I'm working towards, like I'm doing today, I'm recording this course. So once I get like X amount of things done, I reward myself with something that I really like to do. And one of my guilty pleasures is to read mystery books, sci-fi books. I love to read. Like reading is something I love to do. And reading nonfiction helps my brain munch on some things. So I use that as a reward system for myself to keep my creativity going. All right. Stop those negative thoughts in their tracks, okay? I'm a martial artist, so I'm always visualizing palm heel, blocking them right out of my brain or right out of my mouth or right out of my way. So as soon as they creep in, you've got to combat it with something. So you can say stop it now, and then replace it with whatever your favorite affirmation is. I shared one with you already, when I was doing my martial arts, how I would just stop and say, I'm a leaf on the wind. My body moves with speed, precision, and accuracy, right? So find something that resonates with you so that when you come up on that negative thought, you have something to counter it. So the one I hear the most when I'm working with my students is, that's hard. And so one way that I start to introduce this to them is, I know it's a challenge, right? So we change hard to challenge. Right? So just that one turn of phrase makes them not expect themselves to be able to achieve it, which is fine, right? Or that's going to be really hard, Master Huff. And then I say, I know, but that's why we practice. That's why we're doing it as good as we can do it today. So I start to try and introduce this concept with them. So your assignment was to find them, and now let's find a way to counteract them. Or just simply tell yourself that you can do anything. That is one that we use a lot. I can do anything, and whatever happens, we go big, and we go big. We just go big, and we just do it epically. All right. Number 3. So I alluded to this already. Review your past achievements. You are successful. You have successfully done something, unless you're one. But even if you're a few months old, you've successfully done something, right? You've rolled onto your stomach. Right? I mean, you've walked, you've crawled, There's always something you can look back on that and take that as a win, right? So give yourself props for those and name them, write them down. Remember the way that the techniques, or remember how hard you thought that was at the time. I do this a lot with my beginner students who, when they're right on the edge of going from beginner students to intermediate students, and we start to really start honing in on some of the skills that they really need. And then I have to remind them, do you remember how hard you thought a jump front kick was? Do you remember how hard you thought a roundhouse kick was? And yeah. Do you think it's hard now? No. Why do you think it's not hard? Because we practice. So sometimes take yourself through that process. Find something that you thought was hard that now you think is easy, and look back at what you did to bridge that gap, okay? Commit to your goals. I know, easier said than done. But remind yourself daily about, why do you want that goal? Be okay with changing the goal. Don't get so stuck on the goal that you're not flexible with yourself. But if, it's that you'll earn more money, you want to get a better job, you want to live in a place that you like better, you want to protect your family's future, just know why you're doing it. I'm a big put stuff on the mirror person. I'm a big turning my car into a university, or keeping them in there, so when I'm sitting and I'm in my car, I can kind of revisit those things and really stay attached to what I'm trying to do with my time, okay? So you want to make sure that you recommit to your goals, you keep that in front of you. And sometimes you have to change the position, because sometimes you can put it in front of you and then it becomes part of the background noise. So rearrange it, rewrite it, not just say it all the time, but if it starts to feel like blah, blah, it's gotten into the fabric of your life, then go ahead and rewrite it, redo it again, okay? Anything that you need to do to recommit to that purpose. And number 5, work. All right, so along with committing wholeheartedly to your goals, you've got to do the work. All right, you've got to do the work. If it were easy, everyone would have it. That some things we have to overcome individually. Some things are just harder for us. And if you know that, you're going to have to put in that work. But just go in knowing it's just going to be work. And work is not bad. Work is not good. Work, it just is. It's a part of success. Just like failure is a part of success, doing the work, telling yourself what your effort will in the end be worth it. Okay? Schedule time to work on your goals. Now, this is huge, especially if you're trying to squeeze it into other people's things. Now, I had that epiphany. I let other people's wants, needs, and desires overcome mine. And so I really have to stay on top of scheduling the time to work on my goals and learning how to say no. So no matter what your goal is, consistently schedule time to work towards it, and make that just like a doctor's appointment, like they're going to charge you. Just make it just time just for you, and do not move it around unless it is absolutely necessary. Don't make it negotiable. Put that time on your calendar and don't make it negotiable. So look at it, know when it is, know what you're going to do when you get there, all right? And then write in when you're going to work on it and what you're going to do. It helps you get clear. And then this sounds kind of simple, but follow your schedule, right? Maybe you'll work towards your goals on Tuesdays from 7:30 to 9, or Saturdays from 8:30 to 10:30. Whatever you decide, follow it. Follow it. All right. Clarify your goals. So you want to write them and place copies everywhere. We've already talked about this. I kind of went a little bit ahead, but it's so important. It's that important. Wherever you need. And when you're sure about what you want, it's easier to sit down and do it. I know for me, a lot of the times I would try and do it at the end of my day, because nobody's up and I don't get interrupted and I can, finish a thought. However, sometimes making that leap from coming in from a full day and going into my office to work just never happened. So I had to rearrange my schedule to maybe make that my backup plan, but not my consistent plan, if that makes sense. So keeping your goals clarified, write them and place them everywhere, and make sure that you diligently work on them. And diligently work on them is just make sure that you work on them. You can eat an elephant one bite at a time, All right. You just have to take a nibble. All right. So, obstacles are going to be there and they can potentially block the pathway towards your goals. Now, if you can identify the source of the blocks, you can develop solutions or use the time-tested strategies to navigate those obstacles and claim your success. The next lesson takes a look at fear and the problems that fear creates. So you're going to learn that you don't have very many obstacles left in life. You can successfully manage your fears. All right? So that's what we're going to talk about next time. But first, here's what you need to do today. We've got to take action today. So you are going to choose 3 of the common obstacles in this lesson. All right, we gave you 7. You're going to choose 3. And then you're going to write down in your journal, where have you faced these before? Make a list of your examples from your own life where these have come up. When did you face them? How did you handle it? Okay? And then how could you have used the tools that we just went over to overcome or avoid them? All right? So again, your past is your past. Do not judge your past. Your past is part of your present, right? It's what helped shaped you to get you where you are right now. So don't judge your past. Don't go into that negative scripting, okay? Just pick them. How did you handle it before? If they happened again, how would you handle it now? Okay? So that's what your assignment is today. Journal it out. Take the time. Write it down. And I will see you in the next lesson.